All right, let's talk about Stoicism. What is Stoicism? A lot of times when people think of Stoicism, they think of some sort of pacifist philosophy. They think of, just kind of sitting back in your armchair and being, not caring about the world, just putting your hands up and being like, well, this is fate and I'm just going to follow it. And that's clearly wrong. That's a misunderstanding. Let's take a deep dive into what Stoicism is by looking at Marcus Aurelius's Meditations book, which is 12 chapters. And my goal is to go through each chapter, summarize 3 quotes, and then highlight their themes, and then takeaways, and then my reflections for my own life. Marcus Aurelius was an emperor. He was born in 121 AD and he died in 180. He was an emperor, so a lot of his life geared around making political decisions, taking care of his citizens and kingdom. And later on, he realized that to be a good emperor, king, or just in general human being, you had to adhere to some philosophy. And he is one of the founding fathers of Stoicism. Him, Seneca is another good one in Stoicism. Um, there are many other Stoics out there, but I think Marcus Aurelius captures the essence of Stoicism because he comes from a royal background. He's similar to Prince Siddhartha Gautama, who became the Buddha later, because both of them were given everything in life, and yet they transitioned from being at the top of the hierarchy to being simple and monastic in life. Why, you ask? Well, this is why we read Meditations. So Meditations, like I said, it's 12 chapters, and I'm going to go through each chapter. This is chapter 1 summary. Here are the 3 quotes that I have. We'll start with the first one. From my grandfather Varus, I learned good morals in the government of my temper. So he starts with gratitude. And this is very important in life. A lot of times, in today's world, people will compare themselves with others and they will start to think that because someone else has something better than them, their life is not fulfilled. When in reality, everyone is given different things, including abilities and characteristics, not just objects, but also some people are born tall, some people are born short, some people are born beautiful, some people are born not so beautiful, some people are born with blue eyes, some people are born with black eyes, some people are dark skinned, some people are light skinned. The point is you're born with different abilities, and yet our job is not to criticize what we are given with, but instead to be grateful. And from his grandfather he learns that the only way to be grateful is to adhere to morals, adhere to virtue, to be honest, simple, modest, courageous, compassionate, limiting intoxicants, and acting mindfully on sexual urges. So gratitude is important, but it does not come on its own. You have to develop virtue. Virtue is slightly difficult topic, and I'm not going to go too much into detail about it because we have other quotes to talk about. But when you think about virtue, I want you to realize that it's not distinguishing good and bad and basically having a religious ideology that you should only do this and not do that. Virtue is this principle of being good even in situations where you are prompted to do otherwise. It is to adhere to this mindset of discipline and putting effort in becoming a better man every day than to just give in and become a sheep in the society. And virtue and gratitude come in hand in hand. And Marcus Aurelius is basically saying that you know once you start developing virtue, you will start to automatically be grateful for the little things in life, and you will want less things. And this kind of ties into his next theme, which is simplicity. Simplicity is key. In a capitalist society like the one we live in today, it's difficult to be simple. We're bombarded by advertisements, we're bombarded by TV shows and social media, to consume all the time, to feel like there's something wrong with us if we're not kind of caught up with the most latest technology or the most current um, car or jewelry, or the best and the biggest lawnmower, snowblower, whatever fits your own interest. We always are told to maximize our assets, whether that be through stocks, whether that be through real estate, whether that be through some other sort of investment system, we think that accumulating more and more is some sort of way to gain safety and satisfaction, when in reality this is the cause of our suffering. And Aurelius actually breaks this down very clearly. He says that what humans want is not the object; they want a desireless state of mind. And this is a very simple concept. If I break it down, we we seek objects so that once we gain those objects or material, or some people, that's relationships, or um, you know materialistic desires, we crave for those, and we want those, because once we have them, then we enter the state of contentment and satisfaction. In our minds, we no longer have conflict about what we have and what we want. Those are two interchangeable. They become interchangeable because your wants and what you have meet, right? So in that state of perfect balance and satisfaction, you find joy. So it's not the object that you want, it's the desireless state of mind that you want, the contentment state of mind that you want. And Marcus Aurelius says, why go through this whole cycle of wanting something, getting it, and then feeling calm and desireless, and then again going through the cycle again and again? Why not just become a simple man? And simplicity comes with the idea that you are decluttering your mind, and you're basically telling yourself that whatever comes to me, it's this concept of amor fati, which is basically love for your fate. Whatever is in my fate will come to me, and I will be content with what is given to me by nature, by my family, by my friends. In all situations, I will happily respond with equanimity. Equanimity basically means to be balanced and calm and composed, not to want more than what is given. And the quote that he mentions here is, "From my mother I learned abstinence not only from evil deeds, but even from evil thoughts, and to live a simple life far removed from the habits of the rich." He's specifically talking about the rich, and this is ironic because he himself is an emperor. He's at the top of wealth and power and reputation, and yet he's saying not to get caught up in those things. Now think about it. 80% of our population is driven to wake up in the morning, to maximize their bank accounts, to get the best of cars, to get the best of houses, to keep saving in their bank accounts. But little do they know is that the people who have gotten to the place that us, commoners or middlemen, or like middle average, or normal people want to get to, middle class is the word that I was trying to get at, middle class people want to get to, those people are saying, look man, when you get up there, it's the same. You're always going to be suffering because of this dissatisfied mindset, because you think that happiness lies outside your mind when it doesn't. Simplicity is the root of success and contentment and happiness. And if you learn to be simple, not only physically, not only just based on your room, but also mentally, if you declutter a lot of unnecessary desires, thoughts, beliefs, actions, habits, you start to realize that what's within is enough. And that's what Marcus Aurelius is saying that he learned from his mom. And simplicity comes from virtue. Again, going back to gratitude, they're all interchangeable, but gratitude comes from virtue, and also simplicity comes from virtue. If you can discipline yourself to tell yourself that I'm not going to get pulled and pushed by external events, I'm going to stay stable with what I have within, you will build a strong fortress of virtue and simplicity. And from there, all your needs will be met. Everything that you ever wanted or needed will be provided for you if you stop asking for it. And that's the emperor's lesson here, is to give up evil thoughts and to live a simple life. If you live a simple life, everything that you want will be given to you. And finally, he says, "From Ructicus I learned, with respect to those who have offended me by words or done me wrong, to be easily disposed, to be pacified and reconciled." Essentially, he's saying to act with balance and equanimity and tranquility to those people who have defiled you, who have blasphemed you, who have upset you, gossiped about you, who have talked behind your back, or who are unnecessarily making ruckus about you. Even to those people, you should act with forgiveness, compassion, kindness, and a sense of altruism. You know, realize that these people are mistaking you for something that is perceived by their own minds. So a lot of times people will make fun of you or people will say something to you based on their own perceptions. And what do? You say an eye for an eye. This guy made me upset or this guy said something to me, so I'm going to do the same thing to him. Well, clearly you're going to get caught up in this cycle of revenge where neither of you is solving the problem. Both of you are just becoming enemies of each other and believing that the other person is going to change when in reality you both are making the same mistake. So what Marcus Aurelius is saying is that instead of responding with anger to those people who have done you wrong or who have offended you by words, respond to them with kindness. Respond to them with a level of forgiveness. And remind yourself that there will always be people who blame you. There's a quote by the Buddha in the Dhammapada, and he says, um, they blame him who sits silent. They blame him who speaks much. They also blame him who says very little. There's no one on this earth who's not blamed. Thus remain balanced, unchanged by praise and blame. And what this is very similar to what Aurelius is saying is that you're gonna get blamed regardless of what you do or how you are or how great you are or how not so great you are. There's always gonna be people blaming you. There's always gonna be people who offend you, and a, a, a true mark of a stoic is someone who can control his emotions in difficult situations in life and still respond with a level of tranquility. How does a man do this? Because it's easier to talk about these things on camera, but when you go through these situations in real life, that's when you start to realize how difficult it is to control your mind. But he says, when in situations of anger, when you want to respond with anger really badly because the other person has defiled you in some way, take a step back and remind yourself, in the past, I have been in the same position as the other person. I have gotten really angry and said something to someone that I did not want to say, but came out just because of sheer emotions. So I will forgive this person for the same reason that I have forgiven myself in the past. So see yourself as others, and you will start to realize that all of us made the same mistakes. All of us want to get better, but we fail in the process. And so if we can forgive others and let others grow and not judge them, then they will automatically start to respect you. Okay? So these are the three most important concepts from chapter 1 I want you to take away. Number 1 is gratefulness or gratitude. And basically, the whole of chapter 1 is designed in a way where Aurelius goes through his family, friends, and relatives, and he basically tells lessons that he has learned from each one of them. And this is such a beautiful way to start the book because it shows Aurelius's um, characteristic of being a student. I think all of us should take away this aspect of being a student to learn something new from each and every encounter you have in life. Not just the people, but also the events, the the mishappenings as well as the not so mishappenings, I guess. Um, just being a student, being an open-minded learner at all times. Um, that's one. Okay. The other thing is simplicity. He learns that from his mother, and that comes with virtue and the idea that your mind is seeking a desireless state, not the object, but the mental state that comes after you get that object, which is the state of contentment. And if you want to get that, why go in this cycle in the first place? Just seek less things so that you can be independent of external circumstances and start to experience the happiness that you have within you already. Okay, so that's the second thing. And the final thing is respond with balance and equanimity to even those who intentionally try to hurt you or intentionally try to offend you with words or actions or mentally. If you can follow these three things, you have fundamentally understood chapter 1's concept of being a stoic. Chapter 2 will go more in depth about how to encounter people. Stay tuned, and as always, respond with balance and peace. Bless and peace. Catch you guys later.